Good evening, class. Good evening once more. Okay, when it comes to today's class, I can see the number of today is good, and that is good. First, there is a sheet that is circulating. You can sign your name. Uh, who is not today in class? Seems that you are all, but the way you are many, I think you cannot know all. Okay, in our last lesson, we discussed about, so I'm just recapping of what we have learned in our last lesson. So we learned about money. Who can remember what is the definition of money by show of hand? Okay, George?
It's a medium of exchange.
Very good, that is good. Uh, Features of or the characteristics of money. Who can give me one? Yes, Mercy?
Easily divisible.
Easily divisible, good. Who else? Yes, Martin?
It is scarce.
Discuss. Another one? Who else?
Ufotable.
Yeah, that is good. Functions of money. Who can remember? Who can remember the functions of money? By show of hand, John? Functions of money. Who else? By show of hand. It's a medium of exchange. Very good. Our last one is the characteristics or the features of money. By show of hand, characteristics or the features of money. Yes, John? Durability. Mercy? Divisibility. We have many, stability, homogeneity, and that's all. Yeah, that is good. I can see you can remember. You are good. Actually, you are good students and keep track. Okay, today's lesson we are going to discuss about inflation. We are going to discuss about inflation. As I'm writing what is inflation, just brainstorm in your mind. What do you understand by the name inflation? Have you ever heard this name inflation? Okay? So that you give me the answer. We are going to discuss about inflation. Okay, under this inflation, before you give me the meaning of the word inflation, we are going to look some of the subtopics in inflation. First, we are going to define what is inflation. Okay, number two, we are going to look about the types of inflation. Another one, we are going to look about the levels of inflation and the effects of inflation. And don't confuse that. The types is the same as causes. Okay? The types is the same as causes of inflation. So in this lesson, today, after the end of the lesson, kila mtu atakuwa amejua to define what is inflation, type or causes of inflation, level of inflation, and the effects of inflation. Okay, who can try? What is the meaning of the word inflation? Unajua nini kuhusu hii inflation? Have you ever heard this name inflation? Who can try? Just try. What is inflation? What do you understand by the word inflation? Have you ever heard this name? Just brainstorm. Okay, yes?
We define inflation as the general rise in prices of commodities
Yeah.
in a country.
Yes, that is good. In fact, that is the answer. Who else can try? Yes?
This is I'm trying.
Yes, just try.
This is the rate at which the purchasing power of a currency declines.
That is good. Clap for her. Imagine it's a new topic and she have tried. That is good. And my class, every answer is correct. commodity over a given period of time, leading to purchasing power of money. So it is the responsiveness increase in the price of commodities. Okay, we have the levels of inflation. What are the levels of inflation? Levels of inflation. We have various levels of inflation. Can one try? Just tell me one level of inflation. Anyone who have an idea? Anyone? Okay, I'm going to give you, and I know in the next lesson, mtakuwa mmejua, si ndio? Okay, so the levels of inflation, they are as follows. We have gripping inflation, we have walking inflation, we have galloping inflation, hyperinflation. Okay, we are going to discuss one by one. Gripping inflation, this is the rate at which the goods and services rises by 2 to 3% per year. Okay? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
That is gripping inflation. And walking inflation, this is the rate at which goods and services increases from 3 to 2% per year. We have said gripping is 2 to 3%. And now walking is now 3%. From now there is not 2, it's like gripping, okay? So galloping is the rate at which goods and services increases by 10%. And hyperinflation, this is the rate at which goods and services increases by 50 per month, okay? That is now types of inflation. We have said we have one gripping inflation where it is the rate at which goods and services increases by 2 to 3% per year. And walking now, it is the rate at which goods and services increases by 3%. We went together to what? Galloping inflation, where the rate of goods increases by 10% per year. And now hyperinflation, where the rate of goods and services increases by 50% per month. Okay? Those are the types of inflation. Now we are done with the types of inflation or the process of inflation and definition of inflation. Now we are at the levels of inflation. Levels of inflation. Who can try? Tell me just one level of inflation. I can give you 1 minute through group discussion. Just turn to your neighbor, ask him or her, have you ever heard about these levels of inflation?
Yeah.
Just discuss as a class. I will ask you a question and you have to explain to me what your neighbor have told you. So discuss about the levels of inflation, then you will tell me. Okay. The levels of inflation, 1. What have you discussed? What have you discussed with your friend about the levels of inflation? I'm waiting for the answers. Just raise your hand and tell me what your neighbor have told you. Yes? By the show of hand. The levels of inflation. What have you discussed? Kama rafiki wako pia ajui. Okay. Because it's a new topic na najua mna strength sana. Let me just tell you the next lesson you tell me. We have demand pull inflation, we have cost push inflation, we have reported inflation, and because I have given you time to discuss and you have not given me the answers, go and look for the explanation. Okay, I'm ending up by giving out an assignment. I as a children will just give you 20%. You can look for 80%, and it seems that I've given you 50%. So go and look for the effects of inflation. Up to there, we have come to the end of our lesson. Have a nice day, and let us meet next.